Hi guys, we're back with another video. This week we are working on a paint along with me. It's actually kind of like a hybrid of a painting and a drawing. We're going to be painting / drawing this awesome little witchy girl that's getting ready for the fall with her lovely witch brew. So a couple of materials that I'm using in this video that it posted in different videos is we're actually going to be using watercolor, and I also am using watercolor paper. I'm mostly using the watercolor as an undertone and for the background, and then also going back to my classic Copic markers, color pencils, and inks. And I did use a little bit of acrylic paint and a paint marker at the end. So I had a whole other video planned for the first one for this week, but we finally are getting lovely cold fall weather in Austin. It's taken so long to get out of that 100-degree heat. So I was just so inspired by this lovely cool weather that I'm like, okay, it's finally fall season, it's finally witchy season, and I can wear hoodies and it could be all nice and cozy. So I really wanted to do a fun cozy piece, and of course a little touch of spookiness and getting ready for October. And oh man, I'm so excited for Halloween. But anyway, so I'm not super versed in watercolors. I played with them here and there, not too often. But in the background, I had a lot of fun coming up with like that really galaxy, soft tones, and I used a lot of blues and purples and magentas. And it was really fun coming up with the background. The things that I found a little bit of difficulty was making sure it didn't bleed into the rest of my drawing. When I was working on her hair, that was one thing I was like, okay, I just want to make sure, getting all those tiny little hairs, because I want to keep her hair nice and bright and pink. Yeah, and then I did use the watercolor as a base tone. Another thing I found that was an issue was, you'll see a little bit later, as I'm working on her hair and on her face, that I didn't erase all the graphite that I needed to erase. And it does get a little muddy, and with the texture of the watercolor paper, it's got a much bigger grade on it, so it was hard getting it erased in general, but it was also hard just making sure I didn't like lose too much of the detail that I had already gone over with it. The color pencil, I did use a little bit on her cauldron, and I ended up going back with Copic and just building up those tones a little bit more, because I wanted to make the cauldron really shiny, like a really shiny cauldron mug. But I still think you can get a little bit of the nice softness from there. And then right now I'm just working on her outline and make sure we don't lose anything, especially since I'm gonna have to be erasing a lot. But it was really fun coming up with this concept. I love, I love me some witchies and making her look kind of like a little pixie as well, with like the bright pink hair. And a little later on when I'm working on her hair, oh my god, it's so much fun building up those tones, getting all those bubblegum pink and adding all those blushes, and just trying to get her hair really, really rich. And of course I had to add a little heart underneath the eye, do a little Harley Quinn tribute, because she's awesome, and even though she only has a little bit of pink hair, she's a little inspired in here. And then for drawing her eyes and everything, that was an interesting thing. I was trying to figure out how to get the relationship between her mouth and her eyes, like in the relationship to her coffee. So I wasn't sure how I wanted her expression to be when I was initially drawing it, but I know I just want to make sure she was like either at peace or like, oh my god, finally my morning cup of coffee, like super excited. So she's kind of got a little bit of the, oh my god, I have coffee in front of me, this is the greatest thing on the planet. Unless oh, I'm at peace, I'm at bliss, like subtle bliss. I wanted it to be like, ooh, a little bit of craziness, because that's how I am with my coffee. But yeah, now just working on the hair and building up those tones. And even though most of the time I'm okay about putting a paper towel underneath my hand, because I am left-handed, so things get smeared quite easily, I was not paying attention, and you could kind of slowly see her face getting just a little dirty from the graphite that's on the back of my hand. So you might see me go a little crazy afterwards, like, oh crap, wait, what did I do for her face? But it did work out. I did erase a little bit, and then I was able to go a little bit harder with like I think it's a warm beige for a skin tone, and I really like how the skin tone turned out in the end. And I did go back and to add some more shadows with some marker. So I did take my Faber-Castell marker and put a little bit of shadow underneath her hair and just built those tones back up. Oh no, there's the erasing, but it's all okay. Yeah, and it was really cool trying to get the smoke, or not the smoke, I guess the steam from the coffee. I wanted that to be an element in there, so I was trying to keep it very subtle on her neck for a little bit and not put too much sharp tones into her shirt and everything, because I knew that I wanted to put the coffee aroma as a focal point. And then a little bit later on I will add like little sparkles, and you'll start seeing the shape build up, but it was something that, you know, I just wanted to build up nice and slowly. And yes, I did spend most of my time on her hair. That's the most important thing, okay? We got to work on her hair. I'm just working on her eyes and getting them a little bit more wreck and roll. Her lips, I did add a little bit of the skin tone that I used for the shadow, just to get it a little bit more solid, but I was able to build up the magenta on it a little bit more, so actually kind of get a nice highlight on her lips, and it looks more three-dimensional. And then here we're adding the black to the cauldron mug, and then also building up her actual coffee. This is like the focal point. We're super excited that we get our morning brew. Bring those highlights back in, getting that shape. And then actually bring those highlights a little bit up to where her eyes are. So my paint marker, when I was trying to add her pupils, it was not coming out right, because I think I have a little bit of orange tone in there, but in the end it worked out because I did just use like my little white gel pen and built it up a little more. And of course her little crystal necklace, it's got to have good energy, so she's got a good little green crystal. Building up her nails. I really originally wanted to show that she's got like really scary like long witch nails, but you can still see it on her thumb. Oh, and then this is what a little extra that I wanted to go on. So I wanted to add a lot of gold sparkles to the background and give it, maybe I was going to draw like gold stars like I had in my sketchbook, but the paint is really thin and a little bit harder to control with the brushes that I was using. So I ended up just blending it in a little bit and adding it to just the actual background color, and I think it looks really nice with it. And then I ended up taking my yellow Prismacolor pencil and adding little stars from that and putting little highlights. Oh, and there she is. As always, if you're interested in owning the original, you can check out my Etsy store, or if you're interested in prints or home decor, check out Redbubble.